Welcome to another episode of Out of the Blank Podcast. I'm here with Mr. Chris Sewell.
G'day. How are you all doing up the Northern Hemisphere?
I love it how you say g'day, because that just tells us where you're from.
Absolutely. Down under on the west coast of Australia in the capital city of Perth. Good to see you today, Robbie. Doing well, mate?
I'm doing all right. Just waking up kind of because it's kind of late here. But you know what? Time zones. Let me tell you something. They need to figure out the same thing so we can all get on the same schedule.
Absolutely. We're 12 hours in front, so we've just hit 10:30 a.m. Saturday, and you're still back in Friday at 10:30 p.m. So
Look
it
at
is
that.
quite a stretch.
Technically, you time traveled.
Yeah. I'll tell you how Saturday's going. It's looking good so far, mate. Keep your clock going, and you'll be seeing the same soon enough.
You can predict the weather of what it's going to be down here. Just be like, all right, you're going to weird. It's going to be flip flops for you. It's going to be flip flops.
Yep, definitely.
So
It is
Chris,
winter, obviously, our opposite hemisphere time. So at the moment, it is quite chilly, as we say down here, but it's not too bad. It's not raining.
so Chris, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and if you want, what you do professionally?
All right. So as my hobby and passion, I'm one of the chili heads that you've had on your show of late, but slightly different than most. So down under here, we produce some awesome chili products. But myself, I'm not a producer. I'm more of a promoter, reviewer, and just someone to carry that chili love and spread the word. So I don't have any products under my name. I'm not a registered business or anything like that. I'm just getting in there and just helping out those that are and enjoying all the qual, as we say, short for quality, that I can possibly get my hands on. And professionally, I'm a tradesman. I'm a sheet metal fabricator. And at the moment, that for 20 years about, I've been doing that. And I saw a previous interview you had recently. You had a guy who did HVAC, and that's what I'm doing. But we just abbreviate to HVAC, so air conditioning, ventilation, heating, but not residential. I do bigger industrial and commercial jobs, and it's more install compared to servicing or fixing problems. We put all the ducting in, all the big sheet metal ducting, and yeah, all that sort of jazz. But that brings in the money, but it's definitely not my passion. This is hot sauce. Plenty of quality hot sauce going around, and many other products. A few challenges we've got planned.
So how
But yeah,
exactly did you
I
go
know you
from?
love yours as well.
Yeah, well, how exactly did you go from doing sheet metal to making or just promoting hot sauce? I mean, most people are either making it, such as like, we know Justin Harmon Heat makes his own little bit of sauce too, and David from Way Hot Sauce, Two Angry Cats, all these other guys I've had on that we all know part of the chili community. And then there's obviously there's like kind of the opposite side of it, which is like more of the people that try the sauce and are doing these extreme challenges, really trying to put themselves into pain just for the enjoyment of like YouTube subscribers or kind of just, seeing how far they can really push their own bodies. How do you go just from creating a website or a page where you're able to have all these people placed on one platform?
Yeah. So I haven't gone as deep as some of the other boys like Justin, producing his own sauces, growing a lot of chili. I have 2 plants at the moment. I haven't had a lot of time to really concentrate on that because part of my work as a sheet metal fabricator has me flying away for work, a few hours flight up in the mining areas in the resource sector, LNG gas plants and iron ore mines, because as you guys know, our resources down here are amazing. So there's plenty of work involved with that. So that's what we call FIFO work, short for fly in, fly out. So you fly out to site, you work usually 10 hours a day, sometimes 12, depending on the project. And you could be away for 3-4 weeks at a time. And then you'd come home for 1 week off to spend with your family and friends. And then you go back and do it again. So by doing that, being home, there's not a lot of time for doing much of extracurricular stuff that's not just hanging out with your family, going out doing family things. So to be able to film a review, edit, promote, publicize, do a challenge, anything, get into an event. If we had a festival on, I would go and help maybe one of the store holders, or even run a chili eating competition, or do a challenge there at the festival. So even pre-COVID, that was really hard to manage. So I've been doing that off and on for a few years. So my time management is quite difficult at times. So yeah, I just review when I can. I take on the challenges when I can. I have been getting more involved in Australia-wide challenges. There's a few East Coast groups that have invited me to help host challenges, participate, and yeah, it is spreading. I was mainly just West Australian before, but now I'm getting my toes in many chili pools all around the nation. So it's been awesome.
I love it, because you talk about the pepper community in general. They're just a lot of them pretty positive. There's obviously a couple ego people in there, but I think at the same time, it's like we met through a live video of Harmon Heat when he does his lives and everything. You kind of keep the show also in a little bit in check while he sits there and rambles his drunk maddenings. We love him for it, but it's interesting too, because I think as you start to notice, like there's this group of people, much like a lot of all these other groups that are out there in these different communities on Instagram or something, that are pretty amazing, and are all doing something pretty special. I mean, the fact that there's all these guys that are trying to create their own business, trying to run it and start it up, and you know how difficult that is, trying to break into the industry with that. I mean, it's not just with chili peppers, it's with so many other facets that are out there. It's just really hard to be able to give them a spotlight to show up to. And I think that's what you and me kind of do in a way, just by trying our best to, for me, it's a little bit more like just having a conversation, but for you, it's more like you're giving them a platform for them to be able to promote their products. You're being able to, try their products. I think it's all about getting the name out there, which, even though it is the hardest part, is building a following and building like an audience or something, it is still really important that we highlight, like, basically what I would call a mom and pop shop.
Sure. Sure, and a lot of crew start out like that. They're cooking in their own home kitchens. They're expanding. Their friends to try these products. They're figuring out what works best, what they like, what others like. Of course, those heat to flavor balance is always a tricky one. And then they're expanding more. They're sharing it with their workmates, their friends. People are saying these products are amazing. You need to go legit. So they take that step and they hire a commercial kitchen. They get registered and they just go full blown production. But that may still not be their full time income. They could still be working a normal job day to day, like myself. But they're doing their chili production as a hobby, which can then take off, and eventually they have to base all their time on that, and they can't even do their normal job. And of course, if the income overlays that, then get rid of the day-to-day. Let's just go full chili, and then they can go legit. They will already be legit, of course, but just go full blown. I know quite a few local crew that have done that, and that's now their main income, their career, and they're killing it. It is very popular down under here in the West Coast to East. There's not a lot around Central Australia, North and South, but definitely East Coast, West Coast. It's mad. So also globally, so the community is amazing in almost every continent in the world, especially England, UK, and obviously you guys up there. So branching out, we've found so many different possibilities in so many different areas. Heaps of good reviewers, challenges. One of the big ones up in the UK is a group called Nuke, which is North England, United Kingdom. Northeast, sorry, not England, Northeast, United Kingdom. And they're full on. There's not a huge amount of members, but they do really well with the numbers they have. And they do constant live streams on Facebook every day, and really good backing from their admins, and they keep the interest happening all the time. And the League of Fire, as you know, they're based there, and they help promote the Chile community so much with the challenges they let out and release, and it keeps everyone entertained. And there's not enough hours in a day to watch all these challenges and reviews and promotions. It's just really hard to keep up. Even just a YouTube daily subscription, videos coming in, constant notifications of all these Chile channels. You would have to just stay at home constantly watching these videos and not do anything else to
You
be
guys
able
had
to
a
keep up.
24-hour video at one point. I'm pretty sure on your Facebook page. I was watching with the Nukes Chile Facebook page. I was watching that. It was like a 24-hour video of just 48-hour. I think was their
Yeah.
constant live stream. I was like, Jesus, like who's the guy that's smoking crack watching this for 48 hours straight? Like, holy crap! I think I caught about like 16 hours of it or something, and I was like, I gotta tap.
Wow. Well, that's impressive that you even hang on for that long, mate, because that's a journey, that's for sure. It began in April, mid COVID, in England. Alex Beams kicked off a 10-hour live stream with that, and the idea was an online chili festival. So we couldn't have the festivals, so let's bring the festival to the people. So we had individual 20-minute slots of a producer showing all their products and telling us about their journey, and you had a host in between to keep that ball rolling, and challenges here and there as well, so to spice it up a bit more. So they decided, let's do it again for 2 days straight, 48 hours of constant live stream, and this time going globally. So we had 8-hour sessions. I did the first 8 hours here for Australia and New Zealand, and then I handed it over to UK. He did the same, and then I went to America with Giovanni, the fireman, awesome guy. He was able to keep his 8 hours going with Heiko, one of the producers from Canada, and it was brilliant. So many awesome producers that some had been in the Nuke one for the 10 hours, so they came back, and heaps of new crew. I worked so hard trying to fill all my slots from Australia and New Zealand, and that's when I discovered more and more producers, and also the lack of producers in certain areas, like in Darwin, up our top end in the Northern Territory, had none at all. Very disappointing. And South Australia down the bottom in the centre, and Tasmania, that tiny little island down the bottom of Victoria, didn't have much at all, but plenty of other in the rest of the areas. New Zealand is very strong in the pepper game, as Johnny Scoville will protest too. He's been over there a couple of times and checked them out, and they go hard. Their competitions, chili eating competitions, they run heats all around the nation, and then the finalists all come together for the big finale. And last time they ran it, it went for 2.5 hours of constant pepper chomping. That is hardcore.
Yeah, I got a sauce sent to me by David from Way Hot Sauce, and it was like the Ghost Reaper extract, and then also was it Carolina Reaper extract, and then Ghost Pepper extract mixed with vinegar and cayenne pepper. And I gave like a tiny drop to my cousin, and he went into the bathroom and threw up for 4 hours. And then also now
Whoa.
has PTSD to where he won't eat anything spicy. Me, I mean,
Ah.
it's definitely hot. He won't sell it to the public. He only made me a special batch. But I mean, I was dumping it on everything. And I think after like maybe using half a bottle on one item, I started to notice, I was like, ow, this feels like when I swallowed that raw ghost pepper one time. Like you get that burning sensation in your stomach, which is amazing. Kind of leads into the question is, what are you trying to break into? I mean, I know promoting is fun for other chili heads and trying products, but like you want to be part of the community besides doing the challenges. Do you want to take that to like the next level where you're entering those live, things with like League of Fire?
Well, it's been really difficult getting hold of products that League of Fire like to use for their leaderboards because of COVID, and shipping has been such a delay.
And you're in
I did
Australia.
want,
That's so difficult to get half of the products, at least the ones that are in League of Fire, are like Americans. So it's hard to get that all the way to Australia without like $80 in shipping.
yeah, correct. So before COVID, there was the first chug challenge that they brought out, and that was neck the entire bottle in either two halves or one entire chug, and that's 150 mil, I believe. 100 mil. So not as big as a lot of other hot sauce bottles. So for comparison, and it was a very runny sauce. It was a lemongrass base, so it was easy. It was easy to chug down. But I didn't prepare my stomach beforehand. Didn't eat, and it destroyed me within 2 minutes. The gut bomb, the capsaicin cramps were hitting. Huge mistake. Always have a decent feed before chili pepper crew. It's the one piece of advice that you should always listen to. So yeah, that was good. Get hold of an English product, and as for Americans, when the Tube of Terror fundraiser was running a few months ago, where the 7 chili heads were going for 10 tubes each, I managed to win a Blazing Foods gift pack, which included some Reaper nuts, and I've got the Death Nut Challenge version 2. And yeah, I was stoked. I thought that would take even longer to get down here, but it was only the standard 4 to 6 weeks, so it was pretty good. And I'm stoked to get an American challenge down under that I can finally sink my teeth into. As for the wider plan, the long term, there's not really anything in sight to go. Excuse me, to go full challenge like some of these hardcore crew out there that can do it. They're well deserved, but I can't see myself getting to that level for a long time. I've only competed in one Chilean competition, and it didn't go as good as I hoped. It was full on, and I was the second person to pull out of about 8. So I need more training, like a lot of other crew do. But it's a fun journey,
It's
and I don't mind
fun
the pain.
getting hurt, but at the same time, it's also like it's not like a receipt to a store after you just bought something. You can't just go right back and give all the pain back. It's more like, no, now you've committed. There's really not a way to get through this. You just have to lay down and basically make sure everybody stays away from you.
Yeah, yeah. You need to be smart. You need to prepare. You need to know what you're going to be in for, and you need to know what to do afterwards. As Harmon and Extra Spicy D told you, you got to be onto it because you're going to be in for a hell of a ride to the point of ambulance or even hospital visits. And yourself eating that ghost chili, you felt how bad it was, and you probably do not want to experience that ever again. So I'm sure next time you'll prepare yourself better. And
Next time I'll
there's
eat
plenty of
something if
products.
that's the cure to making sure the heat doesn't hit you. Because I went in on an empty stomach and had that, and I was like, all
Yeah,
right, yep, here we go.
yeah, that's the first mistake. And then have products on standby, like you have antacids, and this one's a Gaviscon liquid that's very helpful for stomach inflammation. And another one's Mylanta tablets. So yeah, just antacid sort of reflux medication can help. But the number one solution is to stop it burning your digestive system is just get it out. Get the bucket, get those fingers going, and just get it out of you. And then you have no problem. It's helped me many times. It's
For,
pretty disgusting,
yeah, well, I
but
mean, I
it
used to
fixes it.
take a bottle of Pepto Bismol on that one. You know what I mean? That might help a little bit. I'm pretty sure I can handle anything. Honestly, wait, hold on. You actually might want to actually get it out of you, so I don't think Pepto would be the right way to go.
It can be good for instant relief, but there's nothing faster than just vomiting. And if you flush it really well with water before and after, a lot of water, then it's going to come out easily instead of, nasty chunks like the corn chips. A few of the crew have seen the world's hottest corn chips. And the challenge is to eat the entire box as fast as possible without drinking any liquid. And they are hard to swallow. No matter how fast you chomp them, you need to swallow that. And I almost choked. It was so bad without liquid.
What would you say
Um,
the most, I guess, beneficial thing that you've learned about the pepper community would be? Like, if you had to choose one thing out of either all the people you've met, hot sauces you've been able to try.
um, more the friendliness and the camaraderie, people coming together over a mutual love and passion of a fruit, of a simple fruit of God's garden. It's amazing. I've met so many crew online that I haven't physically seen them face to face, haven't shaken their hand, and they feel like best friends to me. And that's just even in Australia on the East Coast or just down south in our country areas in Albany. We have a couple of awesome crew down there, and it's just bringing you together for the love of something that can inflict pain, but if you keep it at the right levels, it just brings beautiful flavors and amazing accentuations to any food dish or a sauce or a snack or anything, even a basic lollipop, just something that you'd like to have a little sweet treat, and just eating that for a bit, and then it just lights you up. And those endorphins, once they're cranking and then dopamine's released out of the glands, you're feeling brilliant. You're getting that lightheadedness that some drugs would give you, but it's natural and it's not going to hurt you. And the relief after the heat start coming down, the relief that it's not going to get worse, that you've made it past the worst part. Now you can just sit back and just enjoy it.
Just
That's
ride
what
it
a
out.
lot of
Ride the
crew.
dragon is what they call it. Now, do you have a pepper story yourself, either a really good experience, and also do you have a really bad experience? Like for me, a best experience would be maybe, ooh, I would have to say trying to like, I mean, I guess podcasting with a few of the guys, Caesar, when we were creating our sauce, and then also Josh Williams, who ended up sponsoring the podcast, like, talking to him, and like we're creating a sauce on air. So that was pretty insane. So everyone gets to hear our mad ramblings. And then I guess a bad moment for me would be probably when I ate my very first raw ghost pepper. Um, I did it out of a grocery store, one of those dry bags for it. It was like a challenge, and I think that was like no training, nothing like that. And I just ate it, and I felt it work its way through my intestine the whole entire night. And I had to drive home at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was like trying not to speed, so I just stayed in cruise control because I was just in so much pain. You just want to lay your head against the window and just pray to God you get through it.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. I've felt close to that, and thankfully I haven't had to drive. I can imagine how much worse that would be. So the worst time would probably been on site up north on one of these gas plant jobs, and everyone knows me as my nickname on site is Chile. There's way too many Chris's in the world, so having a good nickname like that is perfect. So everyone calls me Chili. And someone had an extract sauce on them, and they said, "Yep, time to try some chili." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm down," but we didn't have the actual bottle, so I didn't know exactly what it was, the heat level. I knew it was going to be damn hot. It was very thick and dark, and I had it before eating my morning tea, what we call smoko, down under my food, and it had been hours since my breakfast, so I had an empty stomach. Broke my first rule of commandment: don't eat chili on an empty stomach. And got through the burn. It was a good burn. The mouth was on fire, the whole works. Went back to the job front after that, and then the capsaicin cramps started settling in the stomach, and it was bad. And that was my first time I'd had these cramps, so I didn't know really what to do. So I couldn't tell if I was going to either vomit or shit my pants. So I
You,
went to the bathroom
you,
just in case both were going to happen.
you either
And
were eating something hot, or you were impregnated by the alien from the movie Alien, when you get the things coming out of your stomach. Get it out of me.
yeah, pretty much. And then when I went back to the tea room, the where everyone has their food, and I come in sweating, pale as, even more pale than usual. And the boys are going, "What's wrong, Chili?" I said, "I'm tapping out, boys. That chili fucked me up. I'm going to see the medic." Medic! And they were laughing so hard. "Chili can't handle this chili. You'll fuck all." And, yeah, whatever. You're not helping me. I'm off. So I went and saw the nurse. She said, "What have you done?" "I'd had too much chili." "What? But you're Chili. You thought you love your chili." "Yeah, but I had a bit too much of something that I wasn't sure of. And please just take me to the medical center." Don't give me shit as well. You
Is
meant to
it
help me. Let's go.
is it better to commit to just taking all of it if you're gonna do like a hot challenge or something, or is it best to just take a little bit and try it out and see if it is for you? I feel like, for my sense of, I guess, no, I guess I would say knowledge, it would just be so much easier just to go head first into a challenge, not knowing what I'm going to expect, because I'd have the confidence to take a full on like handful rather than do like a small little bit, knowing the pain that's behind it. Like Justin sent me devil's dust, and I don't know what it is. It's like dragon pepper or something, like, so it's just a powder. And I mean, I just did a giant spoonful of it like it was regular cayenne, and then afterwards, like, I felt my molars had moved places in my mouth. I'm like,
Ooh.
ow, like I'm in pain. He's like, dude, a little pinky is enough. And I was like, dude, I did a giant like cereal bowl when you're stoned, spoon size.
Whoa. Yeah, that's full on. It if you don't know the heat, it can be a surprise risk that you don't know what's going to happen. So you can't prepare for that. You could hope or assume it's going to destroy you, and it's not so bad. So you're thinking, cool, that was easy. But if it goes the other way and you're not prepared, you're screwed. So and it depends on what your plan is afterwards. If you're planning on spewing up, if you know you're going to get it out, which you should always do at a competition, if you go to a pepper eating competition, get it out. If you're going to do that, then take as much as you possibly can, because you know it's coming out. You know you're not going to have to digest it. But if you do digest it, you got to think about that pain going all the way through you. And if you have a lot, that's going to be 10 times worse. So that's the capsaicin cramps, the stomach, the intestines, as you were saying. And when I had those 2 drops on site when I needed the medic, it was only 2 tiny drops, and it came in waves like contractions during labor. That's what it felt like. That's all I can compare it to. Came and went, and it lasted maybe 5 minutes each gap interval. So yeah, if you want to go mad and go hard, just vomit it, just bring it up. Some people can't do it though. Some people I've said, you got to go spew in the toilet, mate. He said, I can't. I can never make myself vomit. What do I do? Oh, here, have some antacids. This is all I can recommend. If you can't force it to come out, then you're in for a hell of a ride later. The mouth burn is temporary. You don't panic. You get through it. But your stomach, once it hits that stomach or intestines, there's not much you can do.
It's easier said than done, dude. I always talk about the best way. Like, we don't even need to do lie detector tests with a machine anymore. Just give somebody a little, like, the hottest hot sauce, and like, because I mean, you'll answer anything seriously. That's why I give all these guys that do these chili things. It's probably my favorite part about the community, besides the hot sauce makers, is more the people that try the insane challenges and stuff. And Ruth from Heat Source Challenges, like when they're on there, and it's like you're being recorded. Justin talks about it. He goes, you're being recorded, and the whole thing, like where he brings in Keystone, is kind of to bring up his confidence level. But it's like always a thought, like, you don't want to embarrass yourself. You want to do this challenge. You don't want to look like an idiot. You want to throw up or cry. You don't want to do any of that. And as soon as the camera starts rolling, you start doing the challenge. You're like, fuck the camera, fuck everyone else, what they think. I'm just trying to help myself to make sure I don't die. And it's like it goes the whole opposite shift. And I'm like, this is like what I want people to be more like. It's more genuine. Like, you're showing that you're in pain. You're not hiding it from anybody, and you're just really trying not to like shit your pants on camera, I would say.
Yeah, it is almost impossible to hide the effects of chili from others. I've seen a few guys that either are doing it really well and they deserve the Oscar, or they're not feeling it. And some people do not have those particular receptors in their brain, in their taste buds, to detect chili. And I've seen them just eat the hottest stuff, drink the hottest sauce, and they're not showing up. How do you stop your body from sweating and crying? Surely you do not have control over that, no matter how much concentration and meditating can come into it. We're not Vulcans here. We're not science fiction characters that can control their body temperatures. So it should be affecting them. It should be destroying them.
I can't do
But
the
it's
I
not.
can't
It's
do the
not
spine.
showing it.
I can't do that one. For some reason, some people
Live
can,
long
and
and
some people.
prosper.
Yeah, live long and prosper. What would you say is the craziest thing you've ever come across in the chili community? Whether it was a video of somebody doing something, or whether it was a crazy sauce that you would maybe come across?
Atomic Menace, Dustin Johnson eating 122 Reapers in 2 hours' time. That shit is crazy
Okay,
ridiculous.
hang on a second. Who the hell has 2 hours to spend of just eating 120 peppers?
Well, if you're trying to break a record, which is
Oh,
not Guinness recognized, but if you're keen to go, Shahina Wasim, the UK chili queen, she did 52 as a fundraiser to get to the US to take on this guy. And a few crew have done 25. The Guinness record for the most eaten in 60 seconds. Now that is recognized, and that's just flat out speed eating the hottest peppers in the world. And that goes by weight. They all go by weight because chilies vary in sizes so much. Has to go by weight being a constant. And we've got a guy here in Perth, Matthew Price, who took it on unofficially on a live stream, and he nailed about 21 or 22 reapers in 60 seconds. And that was full on crazy fast. That's some awesome stuff. So compare speed to endurance. Keep eating these peppers for an hour, for 2 hours. That's endurance. What Shahina does, 76 competition wins over the last few years. Just endurance. She feels the heat. She's not one of these robots that doesn't feel it. She feels it from the jalapeno, and she just gets through it. Her mental capacity to just block it out and just keep writing is amazing. So definitely shout out Shahina. She is one of the biggest heroes in my life, and many others, for just going that whole way whilst feeling the pain the entire time. That mental capacity, that it's brilliant. So that's probably my number one.
There's really
Definitely.
some people just want to watch the world burn or watch themselves burn on camera. I mean, I think that's kind of the gist of what we get with the pepper community. It's pretty interesting to see everybody's tolerance levels and to see what everybody's willing to kind of push themselves through just to be able to do this. I mean, I've had great talks with everybody that I've met so far through the, it's just the podcast in general, who are doing hot sauce making, who are doing chili challenges, who are just trying to have fun. And really, I mean, I think we noticed during quarantine and everything, everybody was kind of on lockdown. It gave them a little bit more of an avenue to try out some new things. You got to see some new sauces coming out. You got to see some people that really put in the effort to move maybe their product or even their business in general. It was definitely, we're heading into some creative times, I would say. And I think it's important also, as like for you as a producer and also kind of like this person that's kind of promoting as well as trying other products. I mean, you're starting to notice how hard it is. And I mean, for you guys, I give you a big round of applause for the 48 hours of live stream, because I know that could not have been easy to set up. I tried to do a cereal review with 5 people, and that was like, you would think trying to freaking, I don't even know. I couldn't even describe what it was like. It was trying to hunt down 5 cheetahs at once, in a matter of like 30 seconds. Everybody was off, running off, getting ready to cancel last minute. And I'm like, holy crap, like, let's just do it another day then.
Yeah, it was epic. The crew in England, the husband and wife team, there's 2 of them, plus they had friends supporting him behind. Up your end with Giovanni, he had Heiko helping him, so they were getting together, getting producers involved. Myself down under, I was completely solo, and I was still working away, so doing 10-hour shifts takes a toll out of you. So I didn't have access to my computer, make it easy. I had to do everything off my phone. So it was a matter of trying to find every chili producer you can possibly can to fill these 16 hours worth of stream that I had. And I had so many crew cancel on me. So we've got a heap of cross outs, cancellations, people that just did not bother responding. And this was a free advertising possibility for producers all over the country and New Zealand to come on the stream, no cost to you. I'm not getting paid for it. I'm not getting any free sources or products out of it. I'm just trying to help your business at a tough time when you can't go to a festival and sell your wares. And I had quite a few bigger crew, bigger companies that had not suffered during COVID. In fact, their sales had increased because people want to buy chili plants to produce at home, so they have their own supply and they don't have to rely on supermarkets running out of products because of hoarding. So a lot of crew didn't need any help, but even some of the bigger ones were still keen to come on the show just to help share the chili love and help me out by filling a slot. So when I had people canceling on me the day of the stream, or even within an hour of when they're meant to be on their designated time slot, I was frantically searching for fillers. So my friends in the review community were able to step up and just fill time empty time slots for me by doing a couple of reviews here and there. And I thank them so much for helping me out get through that, so we didn't have any dead air through the entire 16 hours. It was brilliant. It was hard. It was really hard work, but we got there. And as soon as I finished, I just logged off of all chili and pepper pages, didn't respond to any messages, and just reconnected with my family for the next week, because that's what we needed to do.
Do you ever feel like it's hard or it's kind of difficult to come up with like crazy ideas or things that you can do to make a more creative and fun way for the chili community? I feel like everybody's doing some insane challenges or doing something. How hard is it for you to try and make something unique?
Yeah, yeah. Sauce producers come up with different styles of sauce each time, different ingredients. But something that happened around April, we have our Anzac Day, and that's our memorial day for our fallen soldiers from Australia and New Zealand during the First World War, and it's always April 25th. And around that point, just on the day actually, we did our first live stream of a new series called the Mr. Chili Anzac Inferno Challenges. And so what that was, it was so hard to get overseas chili products down under because of COVID. So we needed to come up with some new challenges. So a few of the crew that came out with that, shout outs Jeremy, Jezza, you're the man. He decided what we need a very Australian or New Zealand product, and then mix that with a hot sauce. So the first one that came up was the baked beans. So very not uniquely Australian. I know that Mr. Hines up there in the US created the baked beans, but we love them for breakfast down under. So a whole tin of baked beans mixed with half a bottle of super hot sauce with extract in there. How fast can you smash down the whole bowl using a teaspoon? A small spoon, which would be harder to get many on. So we did that as a 3-way live stream, and it was a great success. Heaps of good views, heaps of support, and from there it just spread. After that, we had the meat pies. So the meat pies, a lot of tradesmen down here like to have for their morning tea, what we were referring to as the smoko. So how fast can you eat a pie with 2 tablespoons of hot sauce mixed inside with the meat? Think you can do one pretty quick? What about 3 of them? How fast can you nail 3 full pies, which have been warmed up, they're not cold, plus a bottle of chocolate milk or iced coffee milk, which is very common for us to have with our pie, sort of say.
Wait, you're
And
saying
we had guys taking on that.
chocolate milk is common?
Yeah, more so the iced coffee, IC, is what we would have. Usually, instead of a hot coffee in the morning during summer, you're going to want a cold coffee. So on the way to work, once you get to the work, you probably be drinking some iced coffee just to give you that caffeine boost. And, it's nice and cool, especially when it's hot as balls outside. And
I've been
yeah,
trying
that's
to
a
think
common
of
drink.
fun ways to prank people at Starbucks by replacing their iced coffee with iced chocolate milk.
Ah,
Can you imagine that? You're
yeah,
going
that'd
in
be
like
good.
this isn't my frappuccino. So why does it taste so familiar? I'm like, that's Cloverland Dairy. You had that as a kid.
Nice.
Now, if you had to
Um,
say like, do you have anything on the horizons that you're willing to do, like another thing, at least as I mean, that 48-hour video has to be pretty memorable. So do you have anything that you're kind of planning on doing?
There's another couple of these Anzac challenges that are coming up. There's a sherbet one, so a very sweet style chili. I think it's chili powder mixed with sugar, and so you have a super hot lollipop like this, which has tincture in it, super hot tincture, and that sweetness. And you moisten it and you dip it, and then you hold it in your mouth for a minute. And there's 6 levels of that. So we got that coming up. There's the Death Nut 2.0, which I'm really excited for, because the Blazing Fluids peanuts are the only hot peanuts I've ever had, and they're bloody awesome. I think I've got a couple of tinctures up there, and might even have something from the old Agnes store coming up too, which would be pretty sweet. But nothing that I've created uniquely. I would like to think about getting more involved with that. With my reviews, I used to have my my brother-in-law, Roz, as my offsider. You'll see in a lot of our older reviews on the channel, had him as my sidekick, but unfortunately he doesn't quite get into the Chile game as much anymore. So I'm more of a solo reviewer challenge participant. But that's why getting on a stream with other crew around that makes it a community once again. So having two like Justin and D side by side is brilliant for bouncing each other off, having a good night, few beers, and it works just as well on a co-stream to get involved with your mates, even though you may have never met them personally. Like I was saying before, some of these crew are awesome, but I've never seen them in person. But I know from what we read in our chats and what I see on our screens in our video calls, it's awesome. So yeah, we'll do something as a collab one day with those fellas once our restrictions are easing. Just today we're back to level 4, so we can pretty much be back to normal. After another couple of weeks, we'll be full restrictions lifted, and our local football stadium is allowed to be at full capacity of 60,000 people sitting side by side for our AFL football. So that's really positive for us on the west side. On the east, unfortunately, one of the states have had a bit of an outburst, a bit of a second wave, so they're having to restrict once again. But over here, we're so isolated. Our borders have stayed closed during this whole time. So we're doing really well. We've got no cases. So, yeah, we're looking really good.
Yeah, actually recently my old work, I decided not to go back, just because I felt like, yeah, it just wasn't for me. I think what COVID really did for a lot of people was open up an insight or a little doorway into where they're at in life and what they might want to do. So, I just got a text that was like 6 people got sent home with COVID. So we're starting to experience our second wave here. We actually had a couple banks shut down, because some people that were running and like doing the bank telling actually had COVID, and then they handed out all this money that infected all these people. So it's like, yeah, so we're starting to
Damn.
probably getting close to, maybe, I don't think it's going to be a shutdown again. I don't expect that at all. I know some people are hoping for it, mostly because they just want to stay home because they realize going to work kind of sucks. But
Yep.
I think it's just going to get to a point where it's going to be like go at your own risk type scenario. Like when you're diving into a hot sauce, you know what you're getting into, and it's not really anybody's fault. You're the one that's making the decision. I feel like that's what's going to end up coming in towards. I'm just hoping like it's going to give a free avenue, I would say, to meet some amazing people in the community in general. I mean, I try and pull out positives where I can. I see so many people that are like starting to realize things about themselves. Like, I want to travel, I want to start my own business. And I'm like, what did that really open up for you during this whole situation that where we all shut down? What did you find inside yourself during it? Did you find anything?
Yeah, my line of work, am essential, so I haven't actually had a lockdown stand down at all. I've only had usual weekends off. So my son did come home from school for the 3 weeks, and my partner doesn't work anyway. So for us, we didn't really have a lockdown personally. I was out there every day, so I didn't have time to edit a heap of reviews, do some challenges, reach out to others to do collaboration. So my time management never changed at all. I thought it would happen, and I was preparing to do a lot of stuff like that, but it just never occurred. If anyone in our corporation was to come back with a positive test, we were going to be stood down, the entire company. But we were so careful and staying safe that it never happened, and now we're pretty much through it. Tap wood that it doesn't pop up. But yeah, so it has been difficult to try and use that time wisely because there wasn't any time being an essential worker. Have you, Robbie? Have you hit up a few of the big Chili crew, the Pepperheads over there, like some of these big boys, to come on your podcast?
Like who?
Johnny Scoville.
He's the one guy I will not have on this podcast.
Okay, and the Atomic Menace,
I haven't.
Dustin Johnson.
I've heard of him. I didn't really know a whole lot about him. I mostly just reached out to like a lot of it spreads of words of mouth. Just like Harm and
Yep.
Heat. But I'm willing to have them on if they want to come on and talk. I mean, I know I had Mike Jack on here. I know
Yeah,
he holds a
yeah,
couple of
awesome.
Guinness Book records for some challenges too. I also like not really the huge majority, like the major guys. Like I invited UK Chili Queen on too, but
Oh,
like
nice.
having Roger Trier, um, it's just nice to hear like just everyone's own experience. Like I get enthusiasm even hearing the smallest of like a new reviewer come out. The one thing I don't like about the community though is I'm not a big fan of the people that capitalize on the sauce reviewing, only because they're really just looking for a bottle of free sauce.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
lot
I've
of it's like,
seen you talk
send me
about
your
that.
sauce. Let me try it. I'm like, all right, dude, come on. You got to understand these are people with a business. You got to spend a little bit of money just to help out at least.
Yeah, I purposely do not put my postal address on any of my videos for people to send stuff because I don't want to be obligated to do that. Now, if I go to a festival and I see a sauce, I want to try it. I will let the producer know that I am a reviewer and I'm keen as to try and perhaps review. And if they then turn, okay, here, take it for nothing. This is yours. To say, no, I'm completely fine with paying for it. I'm here to support you, your business. And if you like, you can support me back by checking out the channel and just, if I do review, I'm not saying I will, but if it does happen, I will let you know. And if you can share it out and just spread the word to help, perhaps one day being monetized on YouTube and earning those dimes and pennies for ads like Harmon has just recently done, then that's all I expect. I'm not in this to make a massive career or a lot of money out of it. It's a hobby. It's a passion. Maybe one day it might get that to that point, and I will definitely embrace it. But I can't expect it being that crazy. We're not a huge channel. We've been for three years now. We've been doing videos, and we're only at 260 subscribers, not 260,000, just 260. We haven't even hit that 500 mark yet. It's been a really good year. We've gained more than 200 in that 12 months. So it is going well. Instagram, as I've found recently, has helped a lot. Get a lot of followers, a lot of Chile pages there. But I don't have a Facebook page, a group per se myself. Just with the time management, I just can't spend that much time as well as doing my video editing. I like to do good edits on my videos, and streaming's obviously pretty easy because it's just instant live. There's only so much editing you can do afterwards, maybe with some good, cool thumbnails and promoting at that point. But there's a lot of groups. So there's a lot of groups that I've been invited to. So I've been able to be part of it, but definitely not setting up my own. That would take a lot more hard work. Who's another guy? What about Hot Sauce Junkie Tim? You should get him on, Robbie.
I'll have to reach out to him. I know there's a few people Justin tries to shoot me in, but I'm like, you know how easy it is for if you ask, like I tell Justin, ask the people for me, not like just to send me a DM. I'll talk to them and everything. It's just the fact of it's so difficult. Like if you don't know who I am to come onto a podcast, you know what I mean? Like it's what does this
Yeah,
person want? What does this have to do? I'm like, it's got to spread through you've been on it. It's got to spread through you. That's going to get them because they're going to trust you. And I'm not going to do you wrong in any way. I mean, Justin,
yeah,
for the longest time I was trying to get, I think it was around episode 300 something. I was trying to get a funeral home director on my podcast. And he ended up getting me one. But he was like, do me a favor, be really professional with this. Like, don't do any stupid jokes or anything. Can you just be serious about it? I said, I'll do it for you, of course. You have my word. And it happened that day. I had two of the same funeral director, or not two of the same person, but two funeral directors on the same day. So I got all my stupid questions out with the one guy, and then I had her on, and I was a lot more serious. I was calmed down. But it was like, it's when you tell somebody from it, it's like I don't do a whole lot of promoting, don't do a whole lot of thing. My YouTube channel, I slack on that bad. I'm all about Spotify, where I got my hundreds and hundreds of listeners on. That's not a brag or anything. It's just
no,
you got to find your avenue of what you want to work with. It's hard to make content for someone to be able to sit down and listen to you the whole entire time, or just being able to tune in over and over and over again religiously, which you probably know. It's just about making entertaining. making sure you're having fun as well. But I also like with Justin's videos when he's doing the lives that you help out with, is the fact of it's genuine conversation. It's just chat. It's something you can turn on and just get lost into. I mean, I love joining
Yep.
in. I love meeting all the guys that come into the group. Every single one of you guys has been just so beneficial, has been so just nice, and compared to what we usually see out in the world is people that just ignore each other. It's like, no, this community is a community that comes together in a lot of situations, very, very, complimentive to when it comes to somebody making a sauce, to when someone's doing a challenge. It's always beneficial tips and tricks. Like I said, there's a few ego guys you got in there, but I think at the same time, it's it's a pretty loving group. And I think, as you probably noticed yourself, man, it's amazing to be able to talk to people that you never get to see face to face. And this is a great way for technology to do this. Like, I know Justin, he barely knows how to work a flip phone. So seeing him trying to do one of these videos and meet all these people is pretty crazy, because I know without, like, obviously meeting some guys that like you that are good at like producing stuff as well, you probably wouldn't be able to get it functioning right. But I still enjoy it. I mean, I love where his videos are coming across from. I'm happy I reached out to him and got him on the podcast. And I like the stories, man. Just like a good bottle of hot sauce, you want to know the story behind it.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. He's still learning, and for many aspects, he's onto it. He keeps his short and sweet, unless it's a challenge that has to go for a certain period. He knows people are going to get bored, and I've had that problem in the past when I was doing longer reviews. I mean, an average review length for us was 40 minutes, because we were doing probably a sauce and then having a beer, talking about the beer, and then doing another sauce, or multiple jerky or biltong, and no one's going to watch for 45 minutes. And then we started doing a few live streams, and they were an hour and a half. Then there's no chance anyone, unless they're really passionate, are going to sit around for that long. So the 10-minute mark is the goal. Do one product, just talk about that. Don't even talk about the beer you're drinking, and then just get it over with, and then film another one. If you can do 2, 3, even 4 in one session, that's the smart way to go. But streaming has helped open that up. You get that instant gratification from online chat from your other friends that are not on screen. They're right there in the chat with you. They're still watching. They're supporting you, especially during a challenge. And afterwards, it's online for people to watch back. One of the main reasons we started getting into video reviews was because we loved watching ourselves back afterwards, laughing our fucking heads off at how ridiculous and amateur we were. We didn't have a script. We weren't following a structure. We were just winging it, as we say. And we thought that was gold because it was natural. It was coming across as we were. You know, if you write a script and try and stick to it, you're probably going to look like a robot, and you're probably going to fail.
It's not
No one's going
genuine.
to be as entertained.
It's
Yeah,
it's why I tell
absolutely.
everybody, there's no script to the show. It's just conversation. It's the weird part is when you're trying to do like funny bits, or you're trying to do things. That's cool for good episode stuff, but at the same time, it's just not genuine, which makes it really hard to follow the whole entire time. You like seeing, like, I like picturing being a fly on the wall in the room. Like, how would that conversation go if it was just you were just a spectator?
Awesome. Yeah, and that is the appealing part. Like watching a train wreck or a car crash, watching someone in pain. You're in the background just having a peek around going, look at this guy. I shouldn't be watching this, really. But look
I
at him go.
I
He's
should be
bloody
calling
killing
for
himself
help
over
right
there.
now. I should be calling for help.
I should be on the phone and saying, we need to get an ambulance down here. This guy does not look good.
That just reminded me of the commercials where they're like, it's even worse when you just watch it happen, and it's like domestic violence commercial. It's like, maybe that's not the
Ah,
best thing to watch, but still,
yeah.
I get the whole pain thing. It's like when people say they watch NASCAR for the racing. No, you don't. You watch it for the crashing. It's the same reason I watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, what's fun about watching cars go around in a circle, barely changing positions? You want to see a wipeout. You want to see a massive crash.
With nobody getting hurt, but I want to see a lot of flips.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. More flips in the air. Yeah, that's what we talk about.
Well, Swell, I appreciate you even reaching out and wanting to do the podcast, man. It was a pleasure talking to you, dude. I love doing live streams with you. I think tomorrow Harmon's probably going to go live again, which is going to be hopefully another experience I can hop in on, man. Is there anything you want to promote your page? Let's get the YouTube channel up there too, so people can find your content.
Yep. So the easiest way to search me up, crew, is my name, Chris Sewell. And if you see on the screen, no, that's probably not going to come up. So Sewell, so which is like Jewel with an S. If you search up Chris Sewell with a C for Chris, not a K, and then if you put Chile at the end of that, whether through Google or YouTube, it always comes up. So it's a fail proof way on the channel. But I'll send you the link, Rob, and you can put it in your description if you like. I thought I might just end this with a bit of a burn session of some Arse on Fire. What do you reckon?
I'm excited to watch it. It's going to be good for our YouTube, but the Spotify people are gonna be like, "What the hell's going on?"
All right. Well, for the audio audience only, this is a local sauce made with super hot chili. It's a puree style. It's 75% chili, and those chilies are Moruga scorpion, Trinidad scorpion, Butcherlockia, which is ghost chilies, and vinegar. So we're talking 75% super hot chilies and 25% vinegar, and it's quite a thick one. It's got a nice big restrictor. I'm not sure there's any point having a restrictor when it's almost the size of the neck anyway. But yeah, a cool name. It's got some devils on there, plenty of flames. It's got a heat rating of 10 out of 10, which is more believable than these crew that say, oh, it's 13 out of 10 or 16. At least stick to the 10. So that's good. Arse on fire. So arson as in burning the shit out of something. And
Come
obviously a
on,
parody of
Swell.
your
Drink it.
arse is on fire. So I
Drink
got the
it.
tablespoon out. Oh, it's a soup dessert spoon. So we'll see how that goes. I have prepared with some of those stomach soothers I was talking about before. All right, getting it out. Drop. We are
It's
running out of time. I
scary.
have to.
It's scarier when it's thicker and it's just coming out of the bottle. Like it's just like the small droplets. You're like, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah, it's getting there. It is puree, so it's not a sauce. It is quite chunky.
I
I
like a
had
nice
this
thick
years ago.
sauce. When it has like a water sauce to it, like a Tabasco, that's just crap to me. I'm sorry. I don't like it when if I can, if it can seep through a crack. I want it thick like sriracha.
Yeah, absolutely. And only 25% vinegar. There's not a lot of it in there. It's certainly not tasteable. So the lighting is pretty crap here, but that's almost full. Don't get it on the keyboard. All right. So cheers, Robbie. Time for a burn session.
Rapid fire question time. Have you ever shit your pants?
Definitely sharted a few times. Almost got there.
Oh God! See, that's what I talk about the lie detector test. You give somebody one of those, they're gonna be honest
We have
about
to
it.
wait for the heat to really kick in before I become completely honest with you.
Don't worry, I'm gonna ask about the journal you made in school when you were a kid.
I did like a bit of creative writing back in the day, coming up with some crazy stories. I've always been a science fiction fan, so I've always had a really good imagination. Couple of other hobbies I have. I really enjoy photography and obviously videography, being a reviewer. Love a photo of a beautiful sunset or sunrise. What else? Motorbikes, craft beer, music. I can't play anything really, but I love collecting awesome music. Roz is a producer of himself, some excellent electronic music he's made. The didgeridoo, really love the blues music, blues and roots. I got a didge over there, but I'm not very good at playing it. All right, now we're starting to get the mouth really firing up. The saliva is coming through. The tongue is flaming up. I usually get tears about this point.
Sing a
Usual
song.
challenge
Sing Bon Jovi. Sing it. Living on a Prayer. It'll help you get through it.
on the spot. Pearl Jam is my number one band. Huge Pearl Jam fan. Probably the number one in Perth.
Bon Jovi
Looking
isn't a
forward to
number
the
one
new.
for me, but when I do a hot sauce challenge, I start singing "Don't Stop Believing" or something by Journey. I just lean up on the table, even in the and just start just go. It's like you gotta hum it out or sing it out, man. And just start singing Temptations, dancing in the middle of the street. People are like, "What's wrong with this guy?" Like, I'm on fire inside right now.
Starting to get the tear happening.
Oh god,
That's good. What else? What else do I love? Creativity, inventing, craft beer. I've said that, huge part of my income goes towards beer. I think this jacket might be coming off in a minute. Anyway, if you want to cut this, mate, I understand. Usually 5 minutes burn time is what we go with before having any sort of soothers. So I'll see that out. I don't have any drinks here at all, so I'm not going to be able to grab anything instantly.
well, I think it's
That's
pretty
good burn.
amazing. I appreciate the commitment to the the video. And also, I appreciate what you do, trying to highlight all of the pepper community as well. I'm going to link everything in the description so people can find your awesome content. And thank you for listening to this episode Out of the Blank podcast. And stay tuned for our next episode.